This is very technical. I don't understand half of it, so I'll leave it to Son to explain what it's about. But basically, it's a TypeScript at the speed of C. Sounds very fast. Son, please.
Yeah, everyone. I'm Son. I'm an engineer, and I'm working on a game studio, co-founder, and an engineer working on games, and at our most of our game is based on we use JavaScript to write games, and then we hit performance issues, so we have to move to another engines that you'll see, or another language that make it faster, and at certain points the team thinks because we use JavaScript a lot everywhere, not just on the game, but also on API, on the server, on many places. So we think TypeScript now have good type information. With JavaScript, the legacy way we had, but with TypeScript, with a lot of type information, what if we can send those type to the compiler, so the compiler figured out the memory management, so we can compile TypeScript directly to native binary, so we don't run it on V8, or we don't have any JavaScript runtime, so it's system programming kind of stuff. So that's the story. JavaScript is this slide made by AI, but I'll try to follow. So JavaScript ecosystem is very huge, and we found ourselves how to use JavaScript at certain level. So anyway, we need to use it, and the evolution of JavaScript those years with TypeScript is, I think, is quite impressive. We have all the things that we need for system programming language. So what if we can now make JavaScript into next stage, instead of just scripting language, we make it system programming language. So this is the website. Quick example. So this is the TypeScript that we normally write. Behind the scene, we translate it into, we parse Alexa, and then we have the ASD of the program, and then we emit C code of that equivalent to that TypeScript. So we have this C program, or we can also transpile the same source into just normal JavaScript. So MetaScript is a way to transpile our TypeScript into C or into JavaScript, so we can run it on browsers, and also we can run it on anywhere else that non-JavaScript. So I run it. So it is compiled on the server. So this is not JavaScript, it's a C program that runs and prints out the message. So that is the idea of we write TypeScript as we normally do, and then compile it and run it as a system programming language. So compile to native binary MetaScript to C, and then to native binary. There is no behind the scenes, we don't use GC graphic collectors to manage the memory. It is reference counters, similar the way that Rust manage the memory. So what I mean is it's similar to Rust in the way we manage the memory when we run it in C. Right now, the compiler is self-host, so MetaScript currently written in MetaScript. So, and it's compiled I think there's about 200K line of code, and then it's I'll give you a quick example. Like this example is we use MetaScript to write desktop application that use web GPU to render 3D stuff on desktop, on macOS, Windows, and Linux. And with the same code base, we can also run it on browsers. Awesome. So cross-platform TypeScript that run natively on desktop and iOS, Android, Linux, like cross-platform native. With that, so push it beyond a bit, like we can also use MetaScript to write very small program with like low memory footprint. So this is dumb game, 3D dumb game in Apple Watch with TypeScript. So we write TypeScript and then we compile it into native binary, and it can run in many other places. That's the demo, and then this is a bit more detailed. After we have the compiler, so after we can compile TypeScript into native. So right now, what our team is trying to do is because we also use React Native, which allow us to write TypeScript, and then we can write application on mobile. We can write UI on mobile on browsers, but on mobile, React Native use V8 engine, so it has to run TypeScript on JavaScript runtime, and what we are trying to do here. Okay. Is to eliminate the runtime. So you see in the left side here it's very similar to how we normally write React Native. We write Vue, we write UI in JX, but the difference is that we don't run on this code is run directly on the mobile. We don't need to have the runtime, so it have better performance. From this one, it will transpile into rendering code in the compile time with metaprogramming, and then we have I think the demo a bit. This is the MetaScript program, and this is the JX that render the UI. So when we run it on browser, it would look like this way. I don't have to demo that. We can run on iOS or Android yet, but if we run, it would generate the same kind of result. So with TypeScript that compile to like many targets, so we can run it on to use it to build app UI, or run it on server, or even run it on IoT where we don't have a lot of memory.
Okay. Test. Okay, thank you, Son. Maybe one question from the floor, anyone? Fahad?
By the way, this is super impressive. May I ask 3 questions? Can I ask 2 questions? Sure. What are your thoughts of CelestScript C?
Oh, it's.
Sorry. It's my phone.
Yeah, I know that project. That's very cool. I think the difference is like what Script is trying to do is they trying to maximize the compatibility. So we can use TypeScript, and behind the scene, I think we pretty similar. I think the most different thing is like we are a superset of TypeScript. On top of that, we have another syntax. So, for example, we have number. In TypeScript, we only have numbers. We don't have int or float. We have it. So, MetaScript is very much trying to become system programming, not trying to compatible with TypeScript.
you see this becoming an isomorphic language where the same code eventually could be, well, it's not going to get evaluated, but the fact that you can have some sort of communication between browser, edge, and backend. You see some sort of communication protocol where the same code is running across different devices, and there's some sort of reactivity between them.
Oh, I'm not sure I understand that 100%, but I love the idea. Like, that is what we also trying to do from original. Like, now we have AI, and the compiler, normally compiler is designed in the era that we don't have AI. So it's designed for human to interact with computers. Now we have AI. So AI work with the computer a different way than human do. So we don't have the AI that designed for the LLM. So I think that is what you are talking about.
All right, round of applause for Sam. So next up, actually, Brent. Yeah, so as Brent is setting up, I'll just maybe run through the roster so that the speakers know when they will come up. So anyway, ground rules, 5 minutes each. Owe will prompt you to stop, and we will open up the questions, 1 or 2 questions to the floor. So roster, Brent is up. He's going to be talking about iOS app usability testing. So the first few presentations are more technical, and then you'll get more applied later on. Right? Then after Brent will be Arjun on agent harnesses. And then Tang Yu will talk about CelestAI. Then Ben, the 2 bands, Lightsprint, they'll do a demo of their platform. Derek after. Derek will be talking about his project that he has done. Markus. Yeah, Markus will be talking about how he uses AI to give deterministic investment advice. And then last but not least, Meng will come and show how he builds landing pages with AI. Okay? Yeah. Brent, please go ahead.
Okay. Hi everyone, Brent here. You can scan to connect with me. I'll put it up at the end of the talk too. How many people have vibe coded an iOS app? Raise your hand. Okay, quite a few, cool. Yeah, so I've been working, this is like super early project, couple weeks old, very raw, don't even have a name for it yet, but I've noticed that a lot of people are creating iOS apps, and in the past when I've created apps and websites, I've wanted to do a lot of usability testing on them, and so I'm working with a team to come up with a way to do what we call synthetic usability testing, to create AI users that you can do usability testing with your apps after you vibe code them. So I'm going to give a live demonstration, and it's probably not going to work, or it will fail, but I think it's kind of cool what you can see here. So the situation here is I've vibe coded an app to help with cat sitting, and users can set up a profile and instructions on how to cat sit their cat when the user goes on vacation. And so we have a Mac app that allows you to do usability testing of iOS apps. So I'm going to choose the cat sitting app. And then I can set up some user demographics and behaviors and things like that. So maybe they're new to using this type of app, and they need some guidance with the tech, and maybe they're unsure where to start. So trying to have some different levels of experience and behavior to come up with a target profile of the user, and also some context where they're using it. Maybe they're in a hurry. They're just about to go on vacation. And you can set up this context, and then you can set up a task that you can give the synthetic user to do. So this is to set up the morning feeding hours for the cat so the friend can cat sit. And then we'll hit next. And you can then have some debrief questions to ask the synthetic user how they felt about the experience of testing this app. Here we set up the AI. I'm going to use Claude for this one. And then I'm going to run it. And so then it starts to view the screen of the app and figure out what it's going to do. So right now it's looking at the screen and deciding what it's going to do. And then you can see here, it may be a little bit hard to read, but it can say what it's noticed and then what action it's going to take. So it tapped to the guest option, the guest login, so it didn't want to create an account. And now it's looking at the screen again to see what it needs to do next. And it needs to make a profile for the cat. So it's going to give the cat a name. And every time it usually chooses whiskers. So we'll see here. Now it's getting to the point where it's typing in the cat's name. And each time it's telling what it noticed about the screen. And then now the cat profile was created. And then we can see the next step here. It's recognized that the cat was created, and now it's adding the cat feeding hours. And so, I mean, a lot of people and agents are being used to do functional testing to make sure the apps are working correctly. But I think there's also an opportunity to do usability testing and try to get those at least low-hanging fruit of kind of silly mistakes that might be made when you're vibe coding an app, and then once you can run it through this, then maybe it could be ready to put in front of real users and do the real testing where you can get the real feedback. Okay, so it's gone through and it's done everything, and it actually realized that it had completed it. And then we have a report of the task and how long it took and how many actions and some moments that are worth reviewing. And at the bottom we have a debrief here, and looks like some of the text is not quite great, but you can see like it's trying to answer some of these questions, saying what's the easiest part, but it did fail on what was the hardest part. So we're still doing this very, very early, but would love feedback on this concept, and if you have any apps that you think would be worth testing, it would be great to maybe try and test them. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Brent. Maybe 2 questions. Anyone? Feedback? Stefan, maybe?
Move your hand down.
Stefan's trying to build something for himself. Anyone?
Do you think it's possible to capture how users are using the app and then feed it into this system to just let it run throughout the nights to simulate what users are trying to do and find optimizations?
Like capture real users, or
yes,
or even like telemetry. That might be possible too, and it's something that we would consider putting into it. Yeah.
That's cool shit, definitely.
Thank you.
Anyone? Fahad, yeah.
Yes, one question. You see, by the way, it's a great idea. I'm wondering, so when you generate these personas, and then you have your real users, could you find eventually that your user behavior would inform the personas? So the personas become more representative of your actual user base, and then you simulate all the interactions. Is that what you're kind of wanting to go with this? Or?
Yeah, I mean, one thing we haven't gotten to yet, because it's just so early days, is doing like a real usability test of real users versus our synthetic users. We need to check and calibrate to see how that performs and stuff. But I mean, I think there's an opportunity to do that and figure out and kind of, I mean, my thinking is we can put in a lot of usability testing expertise that somebody new to creating an app wouldn't know, and hopefully we can encode it enough that you can catch a lot of the stupid problems at least.
If I can ask a follow-up to that, I think as a user, I would love if I could launch a whole new product that perhaps I can rent somebody else's persona that is very well calibrated and
Okay. So we could have a persona store, yeah, maybe.
I would pay for that. It's been calibrated industry that I know that is guided by a real user behavior.
Okay, that's interesting. So yeah, trying to really encode, almost like a real user encoded into the AI, a digital twin type concept. Okay, yeah, that's great feedback. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Brent. Next up, Arjun. He's gonna use the whiteboard. Okay, Arjun is gonna be sharing about agent harness at the edge. So, anyway, congratulations. They sold their previous company. Wow. So they are looking for the next project to work on. Yeah, they are creating a RLM harness, which runs directly on the edge hardware.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know if I'll use the whiteboard, but I'll just have it here anyways. Okay, so how many of you guys are like building an agent product in prod? Okay, that's fewer than I expected. Okay, but yeah, so how many of you guys who are building an agent product, like thinking about evaluations?
Why do you put this?
Okay, so our prediction is that none of us will write evals anymore, and it will be agents authoring their own harnesses and self-improve in the future. So we already see like some examples of this. And this idea is called meta-harness. So how can you let an agent run in the wild, use the generated data to kind of just write its own harness? Yeah, so we are kind of betting on this idea. And if we are betting on this idea, then the next question is, what kind of harness would not be a bottleneck for models to kind of self-evolve and improve? So we need a harness that's very modular, composable, and very easy to author. And it's almost like React, right? If you guys know the React framework. React is so successful because it's very easy to author and you can build so many different kinds of applications by just composing components. Yeah, so we started this idea of tardigrade, the idea of like how can a harness be like React? A little bit about our thinking about harness is also like we think harness is like an interface for an agent into the world, just like how we use apps, and React is an interface for apps. So let's say we have Amazon and then I have this cart. Like as I interact with this page, I make changes in the state of the world. Like let's say when I want to buy something, I click on it and it gets added to the cart, and once I actually pay for it, so I'm actually making a change in the state of Amazon's warehouse, right? And then they're going to ship it back to me. So a harness for agent is like a way to let an agent interact with the world and make state changes. So in React, you have UI equals a function of state. And we want to extend that further and say maybe in a harness, like every single state transition is a function of the log of what the agent did. So yeah, without explaining more, I'm going to do a little demo where I will ask Codex to kind of like initialize an agent. Then I'll show you guys like how the agent file looks, like where the composability comes in. Then I'll ask it to run and then just improve itself.
You still owe us pizza from the last demo. The pizza haven't arrived.
Yeah. Next demo. Okay. Okay. I hope I'm loud enough. So I'm going to ask Codex now to initialize an agent. So it's going to just pull in a template agent. So how the template agent looks like is something like this. So if you guys can see, so it's going to input a few packages, but the core of it looks something like this, right? So you define an agent as an actor, that's what you call them, and you kind of like just put in different components of the harness into the agent. So you have one component for like compacting the context window, and you have one for like budgets, like how many tools it can use or how many tokens it can use. And then one component for like it to write code and execute code, and then one for like talking to other sub-agents. So anything could be just plugged out and plugged in. Yeah, once you have it, okay. Let me open this. Yeah, so this is like an example of a run I did just now. So when you run an agent, you can see traces over here. Of the agent's run. So you give it a task, you see every single trace of what happened, and then you can just keep asking the model to improve it based on these runs. So for example, let's say, okay, I'm going to ask, okay. Okay, so it's now going to push this template agent into this folder, and it's going to run it. Okay, so like when it runs it, this is what you see. So this is like kind of like an explorer for the logs. So this is the template agent that it created, and it basically like gave it a task. It said, research this package and explain it to me. So this is one run, right? As it runs, you can see the traces, you can export it. Okay, now I'm going to ask it, use an, okay, now I'm going to ask it, use an evolutionary algorithm to improve it. So a little bit about how an evolutionary algorithm would work in this case, is that you basically like start with like one specific harness, and then you ask another agent to run it a few times with different variations, and then once it's done, it's going to look at all the variations in the output, and then it's going to pick like one candidate that's performed best. And then as you just keep doing it in a cycle, and as you do it across a few runs, then you can kind of get an optimized harness based on any metric that you're trying to improve. Yeah, basically once you run, then you'll get multiple candidates and then you can choose the best harness. Thanks for following along, and I'll be happy to chat more about this, and if you have any more questions.
All right, thanks Arjun. Any questions? Agents, builders, any?
Yeah.
Oh.
I know Arjun, you're doing this, it's going to be amazing, man. But I'm wondering, so with the evolutionary algorithm, you have like, you see, by the way, I have no experience with my own harness, so super naive here. But what I wonder is that if you have multiple objectives, and then some of these objectives could be complementary or contradictory to one another. So have you seen that use case where, so for example, you're trying to optimize the outcome, but on the other end, you want to say optimize for token efficiency. And these two things may actually go against one another at some points. So how would you solve that here?
So there's this algorithm called JEPA. So it's called genetic Pareto algorithm. So it's exactly this kind of situation, right? So you have multiple metrics. Like at some point, as you want to increase the score on some metric, let's say how well researched the output is, that's going to directly conflict with the token cost. Because the more you want to spend, the more naturally the output is going to be good. But you don't have infinite tokens. So that's when you use this kind of like Pareto. You kind of find the frontier, the point where you increase further, it's going to affect the other dimension too much. So there are like multiple algorithms like that. But the idea is that once you have a harness that's very composable, it becomes much more easier for a model to just optimize and
All right, thanks Arjun. Next up, Tang Yu from CelestAI. So now we are getting a bit more applied. So Tang Yu is going to talk about his all-in-one platform for connecting startups, SMEs. After Tang Yu will be Ben's Lightsprint. And then after that, Derek will be coming on stage.
Okay, now you can see my screen. Okay, first, thanks Michael and the SQL Collective team to give me the opportunity to share here, and also thank you Max. Yeah, so okay, so my name is Tang Yu. Okay, I'm the founder of CelestAI. CelestAI actually is targeting to build an AI native business platform to help business to run better, connect to opportunity and growth. Okay, so actually. I spent years in helping companies to perform digital transformation. So to process business process analysis, come up the digital transformation plan, and use RPA, IDP, chatbot to implement the plan, and also release the solution to the enterprise team. So actually, along the way, I keep seeing the same thing happen, okay? Analyze the business process, automation, and then it comes to another system, another process, another company. So each process becomes more digital, but the business stay fragmented, okay? And this one is not only happening in one individual area. It happened, I work for a company in Australia, Suncorp Bank, Boro, and also the companies here in Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia. All of these enterprise level companies have the same problem. So this leads me to the one of the questions. What if we stop adding system around the business? What if we design an AI native from day one? So that leads to the idea of CelestAI. Okay, so I start CelestAI from September 2024. And this is my journey. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. This is my take away from the 2 years development solo founder for this one. And AI does not remove the engineer discipline, it makes discipline more important. So I'm now focusing more on architecture, setting up, define the boundary, and also do the testing and governance. Okay. So where CelestAI is today, so for internal process, actually we provide this run better by CRM, workflow, and AI co-pilot and agents to manage the daily internal process. And also for externally, we have the website, CS agent, and company profile and matching function and features for the platform. And rather than to show you everything, so let me just show you one thing that is working today. So I have the business content, the business setup, the business content, and generate the website, publish the website on CelestAI's platform. And the visitor can chat to the customer service agent, and the agent will collect the feedback from the visitor and generate the lead in the CRM system. Okay. Okay, imagine I met someone here today. And then it's called Nova Flow AI. And then he want to set up the present and the business on CelestAI platform. So he just need to set up the company profile and show. And then he can actually start to use the web page builder. And this is still a little bit traditional way, but he can simply just drop in the documentation, image, and then some description. I don't write the description now for time saving. Yeah. And start to follow the step-by-step vision. Create the website, the web page, and publish on CelestAI platform. Okay. So it will take some time, maybe half minute, to extract the information, the image, and also the documentation if you want to upload to CelestAI platform. Okay. Okay, so if you just, the final outcome will look like this one. Okay, so it will be the web pages, and you can see some of the website has been created. And it will take around maybe half minute or 1 minute to generate this web page with the translation already embedded. Then you can set public, and your web page will be displayed here. Okay, so this one, the Nova AI flow. So this one will show on CelestAI's platform, and also if you are a visitor, you can actually talk with the CS agent for these your business. So this is the one. So there's a customer service agent already set up for you. So any visitor can just talk to the agent, and then the agent will collect the information and feed into the CRM system. That is the thing actually I'm showing the demo today. And yeah, so lastly is the, so this is my contact information. If you have any interest to the platform, feel free to come look for me and have a chat. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tang Yu. Any questions from the floor? Oh, one question. Yeah, go ahead.
Pricing.
Currently, we are looking for pilot user. So in the next half year, it's free for the pilot user. But for normal user, it's allowed free for non-AI feature and function. For example, CRM, all these basic feature and function is free. But if you're going to use token, use LLM, then it will be the $10 basic monthly subscription. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Tang Yu. Next up will be Lightsprint. Hey, who's gonna present? Ben's gonna present. I first saw their demo at National Library, and that's before they went to YC, not long after. Very interesting how humans and AI collaborate. Yeah, Ben, let's go.
Cool. Hey everyone, I'm Ben from Lightsprint. So just a sense of the room. Who's an engineer? Who's an engineer by training? Okay. Almost 80% of the room. Who's a product manager or ops? All right, cool. And maybe of all the engineers, like who really hated working with the PMs? Okay, everyone loves working with PM, so that's great. So yeah, like a little bit about my background. I used to be a product manager, and I think one thing that I kind of like faced was that sometimes the engineers will oftentimes push back and say that sometimes this idea doesn't make sense, it's not technically feasible, right? It's going to take like maybe 5 weeks or maybe like 4 sprints to do it, and I think that always had a lot of impact in me, right? Because like customers are asking for feature requests, right? And with like coding agents becoming almost like almost autonomous software engineers, could you really then empower like product managers or even designers to contribute very safely in the code base? So that really started Lightsprint. We basically felt that with like coding agents becoming so good, can you take a really complicated code base, like maybe it's like a 30 repository code base, it could be like something that has a lot of microservices, put it in the cloud and allow for anybody in the team, whether it's a product manager or a designer, to then contribute to it, right? And I think the good thing is everyone is now very familiar with vibe coding, so you can use like Lovable, Rapid, but it's really great for greenfield apps. But for something that's like a really complicated code base, how do we basically bring everybody into the product development process? So this is a Lightsprint platform. We've been building Lightsprint with Lightsprint, and the fun part is, as a PM, I've been always writing tickets directly, and the good part is now every ticket here that you see is a mini computer that's in the backend, right? So this is one of the features I've been working on. And when you click into one of the tickets that I've created, there would actually be a live preview of like how the app would look, right? So the cool part here is that it's as though you have Claude that's running in this like machine, but it's collaborative because everything now is on the cloud. So as a PM, when I actually just like put in like my requirement, the agent will build it in the background. It will let me know that it's done, and whenever it gets stuck, an engineer could hop into the same session and basically steer the agent. So yeah, this is like Heng Hong basically building it. I could hop in, I could say, you know, I want to change certain parts of the code. Yeah, and you basically start running the agent, and you know, everything's on the cloud, right? So the beauty of this is that I think with all the code being done on the cloud, it unlocks a lot of stuff. The first thing is there's shared skills. Like as an organization, as long as somebody adds a skill in, like everybody in the team could use it. There's shared context, and lastly, there's a shared execution as well. So because like the preview is live, anybody, if like a PM gets stuck, a designer could come in and say, hey, you know, there's something off the spacing. You can basically just tweak that. So yeah, we have this running in the background. So for a demo, I basically just like got our agent to just build like a simple like carousel marketplace, right? So I just ran a simple prompt in the morning. So this is like, imagine this is like an existing code base of carousel. It fits on top of it, right? And now the cool part is you basically can fire off multiple agents at once, and it will work in parallel. So it could be something like, you know, you want to edit like the avatar of the app. So you can basically, with Lightsprint, run like multiple sessions in parallel, and all these agents will run autonomously in the background on top of the existing code base. And when it's done, it will let you know, what it has done, right? So it will take screenshots of what it has built, so you can verify that. It works on mobile as well. So yeah, you know, Brent could try it out. Basically, you know, you could see, you know, what has been built. And it's really just like, you know, as though like an engineer has built on top of the code base, and you know, you're a PM, you're now really empowered to make changes. And the good thing is we care a lot about the guardrails and safety as well. So you know, I think like when we spoke to engineers, they're like, no way you could actually contribute to the production code base. I don't want to have, you know, like PRs just going into the code base and, you know, messing the production code. We spin up sandboxes, and everything here has its own database. And you know, when you basically are happy with it, then the engineer will do the final merge. So everything would just be sitting on top of GitHub. You can view a PR when it's done, and it will run like all the CI/CD that's needed as well. So over here you can see the review hub. It sits on top. It'll tell you whether it's ready to be merged or not, and all the checks that you have on GitHub, be it like the code review agents, the type checks, everything will be here. So the engineer will just take it over. They can view the PR when it's done, and then do the final merge. So yeah, like that's what we've been working on. We have basically helped a lot of mid-market enterprises to basically empower like their designers and PMs to ship to the existing code base. I think that's actually really fulfilling for me at least, because I wish I had that when I was a PM, but now we're really seeing like PMs becoming almost full stack engineers. We're seeing designers becoming front-end engineers. So yeah, I think that's really the kind of like, you know, mission that we have, like turning everybody into product builders in this AI age. Yeah.
Questions from the floor? Anyone?
Just I saw a lot of visual elements.
Yeah.
As a former PM working on more of a business process platform, so a lot of back-end,
right,
and a lot of calculations and flows. How do you see Lightsprint working in an environment where you're trying to validate like process outcomes rather than UX change?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So one thing that we've found was that for simple UI changes, it's always very easy for designers to do that. and how do we actually break down a complex feature, right? Like it actually requires a lot of PRD, a lot of like, basically rethinking of like the entire flow, maybe on the back-end side, like maybe there'll be some architectural changes. And that's what we actually have been focusing on in the past couple of months. We created a plan feature where you can actually put in an ambiguous requirement and it would generate three main artifacts. The PRD, so really the problem, the key product decisions, what's in scope. It will come up with a preview of like the app as well. So imagine you're a designer, you could actually really test that. So it's like a working preview that you can basically try it out and see whether this is up to standard. And lastly, you basically can also have the engineering side of things, right? So once you put in the question, you will ask all these different clarifying questions. So you can tag an engineer to ask or answer all these questions, and it will come up with the full technical spec as well. So like all the diagrams, the lifecycle diagrams, how things would look, how the database schema would look, we will generate that. And I think the key now is like, can we basically drive alignment across the entire product team, get it to a point whereby the spec is really good, and once the agents catch up, and I think it's already there, like you could really just one-shot the entire feature.
Yeah, Josh.
And for the visual and design elements, that's proposed by your agents?
Yes, so we look at the design.md file. So if there's a design.md file, we'll feed on that. Otherwise, we'll extract that into a design.md file from the app, and then we'll use that as a reference to create the visuals.
Because you use carousel as a, example, right? But who owns liability? I'm just conscious, if you say, you give an ambiguous request like a carousel style, and then it comes out with a carousel copy. That looks pretty similar. Maybe not 100%, but enough. Is there something that you guys have thought of?
Yeah, I think this is a great question. So this is just for a demo, and we work with Carousel on some of their projects. So for us, we actually really just work with the company to extract their design style. So if they were to basically say that, I want a style of, maybe Airbnb, I want to tweak my design style based on that, then they could actually just write that in the prompt, and then finally just getting it maybe tweaked, make it more minimalistic and all that. But it's up to that company, right? Because it's a dev tool for them to use it. So when they actually move it to production, then if let's say, it really looks like another app in the market, then, they might face legal issues. But that's really how they would decide how to navigate the business.
I'm curious about just now you mentioned that you're trying to create alignment between the different departments. How are you doing that? Is there a modality or certain user experience thing that you designed to?
That's a great question. So for this planning mode, the core goal is we want to break it down into different departments. So for instance, you always start off with the product, you put in the requirement, it will come up with different of these variations for you to choose from. So once you're done with that, you could tag a designer, if you have a designer on the team, to then answer the design questions. And if not, if you don't have a designer in the team, if you don't have the luxury of that, then this agent will basically give you options and you can pick from there. So the whole goal is, can we basically just make this whole spec creation process very collaborative, right? So if let's say I get it all the way to maybe the full PRD and the full design spec, but on the engineering side, I'm not sure about the architectural decisions, then I will tag an engineer, he will answer the questions, get the full tech spec out, and then we'll fire it to the agent.
Do everyone work async still? With this?
Yeah, so I think, so it's funny. So we actually debated quite a bit about async versus not async. So if we were to see our board, Ben's online, so he's probably working in the back. So Heng Hong actually used to work in Facebook Messenger, and the first thing he really wanted to put into our board was like Facebook Messenger, right? Could you actually see who's online? And I think that actually really helped with the whole collaborative nature of building. I can see that Heng Hong is building this, and the ticket is live, right? You can hop into the session. I can see what Ben is doing, and basically look at what prompt he's running. I can look at what Heng Hong is doing. look at this prompt, right? So it's super collaborative if you want. So there's like the synchronous part of things. But on the planning side, you can still have the async part of it, right? So I could come up with, I could answer all the questions that I know how to answer. And once it gets to a point whereby, you know, I'm not sure this is too technical, then I'll tag the engineer to answer it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ben. Round of applause for him, please. Next up, Derek.
Sorry, one last thing. So we're giving out like, because we got to the YC, we got some free credits.
Yeah.
So please come to me and then we can give you some free credits which will give you some Claude, Opus or Fable if you want to run it. So just come to me and yeah, we'll give it out to the community. Thanks.
Thanks.
Works, one shot. Let's see, I'll hold it. Thank you. Hey, it works, nice. Cool, that is my dog. This is gonna be a very dog-focused presentation. Da-da-da. Sweet. I guess by show of hands, any pet owners, dog owners here? Yes, loud and proud, my fellow Shiba Inu. Yes, Shiba Inu parent, as we say. I'll kick things off, so thanks everybody. My name is Derek. I'll do a quick little intro slide. I'm calling this just very generically like personalized software for a design partner. I recently started my new solo venture called Good Karma Labs. So for myself, come from big tech, video game background, came to Singapore about 6.5 years ago to work on startups, and then this is my new solo venture where I call it the AI Product Studio for Good. So what does that mean? Well, let me take you through a quick story. This is Karma, yeah. So she's my little baby, and her favorite thing or favorite place in the world is her doggy daycare. The doggy daycare turns into a very happy puppy, and every once a week, a doggy school bus will come and pick her up, right, and drop her off. So she's a very happy doggy. They take her on wonderful walks. She has more friends than I do. I think she might be a VC. She's very well networked. They have birthday parties. They have Shiba friends. She has a very diverse set of friends too. So on Monday, I came here for the Forward Deployed Academy, and someone was asking me, like, oh, is your dog having a good life? And I was like, she's having a better life than I am, because she was at like Marina Bay Sands, Marina Bay Park, with all of her friends. So one thing that I realized, though, is creating this paw holder value is very time consuming from an operational standpoint, that the doggy daycare facility is not a very tech-forward company, right? They're working on it, and I basically reached out to help build something custom for them, because I know they spend so much hard work to make sure that my little puppy and her friends have a really good time. So with all the routing to do drop off and pick up, it's all manually done the night before. It's done outside of hours, kind of error prone. It's done by different people every night. It's very non-standardized. And most of all, too, it's all tribal knowledge. So of course, this is just basic areas where AI or just software can come in. So I went ahead and sat down with their founder to just go deeper. And I think everyone here has worked on their own cool, like vibe-coded creative projects. I've made all sorts of food-related ones, but I really wanted to have something that was built on the requirements or pain points of an actual business. So let me, show you the demo. Oh yeah, random cute personal projects. But here, so I just changed the logo out for my dog, Pixelated, with a harness. So I turned her into an agent because she also has a harness. So the people that will be using this platform are not very technical, right? They are the people that love the dogs, but might not come from engineering or product. They don't spend that much time behind a laptop, but during their evening time, they can quickly do all of this in one centralized place. So here's kind of like the action dashboard, things that are data fields that are missing. But let me just show you first the doggy database. So this is all simulated data, very believable, like names of dogs. There should actually probably be like 10 emojis. That seems to be the most popular name in Singapore. But this would be like the daycare days, pick up, drop off. Not all dogs get along with each other, so adding in certain conditional logic that Bailey and Tommy do not get along. So with these sort of requirements in mind, and the addresses of each of the dogs, I put together like a transport routing sort of tool so that the different vans that come to do the drop-off and the pickup on different days can very easily do that. All of the orchestration is done manually currently, but it is communicated via WhatsApp. So I made a little like one-click like WhatsApp for each van or all vans, and you can edit it here as well. So fun little foolproof tool there. Likewise with walking, the photos to get them from point A to point B. One person can only manage up to 4 dogs. Not all of them get along, so there's some cool logic built into here. Likewise, when they get back to the facility, they have 3 floors of puppy paradise, so they need to orchestrate who gets along with each other. So very practical, and it works with like live data from their preferred current tooling that is a little bit actually slow. But again, this cool little thing is if they have questions like how many dogs are coming on Thursday, right? Or if they want to make a change, like move Mochi from Monday to Wednesday, you can make quick changes there. So that's the very non-technical demo. I wanted just to show something that I built for a prospect. I was doing this pro bono, and I was walking along past a mall, and I saw another dog training place, so I did a quick picture of them too, and they're very excited. So I'll just share one last slide of, I don't know if you guys want to get in touch. Here's my deets. This is solo. If you guys have any advice for kicking off your own AI solo business, doing custom software or consulting, I'm reaching out to SMBs for the very first time, a very different demographic. They're not on LinkedIn, so I can't slide into the DMs there. But if you have any friends that are SMBs or interested in applying AI, I would love to chat with you, or friends for a free design partnership. Thanks, team.
Thank you. Any questions from the floor? Yeah. Which place is this? I want to send my dog.
Yeah, oh, this is a doggy retreat. It's in the east, so yeah, there's I live there specifically because it's the most dog-friendly area.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Derek. Next up, Markus. All right, Markus will be sharing how he uses AI and ML to provide regulated investment advice to the mass consumers.
See my screen.
One last. All right, Markus.
All right, cool. It's my first time presenting here publicly. Kind of nervous. Hi everyone. My name is Markus. I'm a co-founder of Portfolio Doc, and we are providing an app that is a regulated investment advisory tailored to your portfolio. And as you can imagine, who of you have a portfolio of like stocks that you have invested or ETFs? Quickly raise your hands. All right, so you are probably also aware that what are the products out there? There are ETFs or robo-advisors or mutual funds in the banks, etc. And our app is actually trying to provide advisory on the individual stock level, but also up to multi-asset level. For example, you have this portfolio of 5 stocks, and we would give you actually investment advisory on each of the stocks, how much to increase or sell or decrease, but even also additional stocks that would be interesting for you. And all of that, as you probably have seen in YouTube videos, they have like those disclaimers like, oh, it's not professional financial advisory, etc. But for us, it is indeed regulated financial advisory, offering that to the retail customers. But how do we do that? As we all know, AI is probabilistic, and unfortunately, or fortunately, advice cannot be probabilistic. And I would say our main proposition is that we are not selling an AI directly to the end customers. We are selling the reliability for regulated investment advisory. And since it's a technical crowd here, most of you, when you've been working with AI tools, you know that it's not news to you. Probably everything that is built with AI right now is going to be challenging or actually not survive any regulating consumer-facing apps. And if not everyone, I would say actually mostly, all of us are an overlay of AI. And the only question is, what does your overlay actually add to the value to the end users, right? What we did, we spent the past 3 years focusing on the R&D, building on the boring part. Truly, what AI enabled us is to go more in depth about what our product actually should deterministically create. And specifically for our case in the financial markets, you know that the markets are highly dynamic, but on the other side, on the contrary side, the regulations is not that dynamic. AI is probabilistic, and regulated advice must be deterministic, therefore. And you might ask yourself, like, oh, why not just use ChatGPT or anything to advise myself on my portfolio? The key problem that boils down to is actually that sentence, right? It might recommend you to buy a certain stock today or sell it tomorrow, but there's no real change in the data or new data that's exposed to you. And that's essentially is noise or some fluctuations that you can really rely upon. I know some people still rely upon that and to invest their own portfolio, but as you are aware, there's some certain risk that comes along with that. And this is the underlying issue, as we all know, is a probabilistic model underneath all the AI tools. So that's not really fixable by a better prompt, but you fix that with a rule set, the good old boring way to do that, right? So what we are providing is a consistency, explainability, and auditability in our algorithm for the financial advisory. So to emphasize it once more again, we are not really selling the AI to users, but we are selling the reliability. And why is that an interesting market for us to enter? Because my co-founder, he has been a portfolio manager in the industry, and financial advisory on that level has always been bespoke and exclusive to high net worth individuals. And the idea was born out of it to how do we provide such a service of investment advisory outside of the bespoke scope to everyone else, really. And this is actually what we are cracking and unlocking with that app. We are removing the human advisor from the loop, and we're able to provide personalized and 24/7 access advisory to the end users, with arguably even a deeper research coverage, because we are cutting out the person in the middle who's the advisor, but we can solely focus on the equity research and investment research. So with the wave of AI made intelligence cheap. It's commoditized throughout, and reliability is the thing that's still expensive, and that's what we are banking on, I would say. So my question that would help us out to the crowd is, we are, after these 3 years, we are pretty close to our launch, and we are now focusing on to go to market. So if anyone has some experiences regarding a startup product that's digitalized and B2C, happy to connect and learn about that. And yeah, there's a contact form to our landing page. Please sign up to a waiting list once we are fully launched, because we are about to actually finalize the regulatory side of things, so we can sign the license. It's a license not from the MAS, it's from the so-called BaFin. Our target market is the EU, and we are about to receive the BaFin license, where we can provide the advisory. And once that is through, we'll open up the app to beyond our test user crowd. And yeah, that's all you get about us when you sign up for the waiting list.
Cool. All right, thank you, Markus. Great presentation for first time. Really.
Thank you.
Oh, questions from the floor, actually. Ezekiel first, maybe.
What's your personal ROI using this app advising for you when you invest in your stocks?
Actually, I took out all of my investment since over a year ago, because we have been solely focused on the product building, and I know that our analyst team were involved in the product building as well. So, but we are about to ramp that up, then I go in again. But for the record back then, it went pretty well, yeah.
What's the number? What's the number? Give me a number.
It's okay, y'all can take it.
To be honest with you, I'm not that clear anymore on the number, like how it was. It was some time ago.
Okay, Ram?
So you're searching out rule sets, which I'm guessing are like red lines that it cannot cross, right? And that's sort of like a safety check in terms of how it generates its output. Have you guys tried using adversarial agents to have some agents question each other's work as a way to generate high quality output? Was that part of the process for you?
What are advisory agents?
Adversarial, meaning they're actually opponents. So one agent will say, I think this stock's going to do X, X, Y. The other agent says, I think you're wrong. I'm going to prove it.
Oh.
You get them to sort of compete to find the truth.
Oh, that's interesting, but that's not how we are doing that. We have actual human experts who are finance people who is like doing this research. Of course, we are creating proprietary tools internally for them to do that. But anything that gets recommended to the user, imagine you're using the app and you get recommended 5 more stocks to invest in, etc. The investment thesis and all that research onto it, there's actually a human expert behind that conducted the research for you. So there's no the agentic framework that you were mentioning. Yeah.
What's the LLM model you use for the research? Because I noticed so ChatGPT, Codex isn't the best, it sounds. It was really good. Kimi so far I think is the best. So what's the LLM you use for the research?
So truly, it's we are, I would say, a model agnostic. Without sounding too buzzwordy about that, it's like any model that's doing great, we do that. But beyond that, we are buying in a lot of data from the London Stock Exchange that will be used for the analysis. But on top of that, analysts truly just use whatever model is there for them to do the work of research, and then
So you let, like, again, you don't have a base LLM model you use. You have an orchestrator, I guess, that ships it to different LLMs, or what? Like,
am I understanding it correctly? Like, no, we don't have an LLM in the backend to conduct the research. We are having actual humans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Yeah, Fahad.
It is added for clarity. So if you are doing research, and then basically the person you're removing is my direct access to an advisor. So basically I get direct research with some recommendations, but they're personalized, right?
Yeah.
So is that not, I'm sorry, the part that's not clear for me, is that not the same thing as a financial advisor that understands my context, provides a recommendation?
Yes, so how it was happening from a co-founder, that's where it originated from, right? As a portfolio manager, he was like providing a bespoke service, like a one-on-one session with you, for example, and we're going through then the portfolio that you has, and also the profile that you have, and then any changes of like increasing a stock or decreasing a certain stock, etc., we actually provide that service to you, and with a rationale behind that. And the neat part about that is the social innovation part of it is like any other products currently, like if you sign up for brokerages or any ETFs, you are giving away your money for basket-based or basket models that serves a strategy for thousands of different users. What we are doing is the money stays with you, and we are analyzing and really advising on you, like any brokerage that you can use or are already using, you can still use it, and we are truly just providing advisory on your portfolio.
Perfect sense.
Yeah.
So basically you're the one still making the decision rather than the one.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. And I of course, personally, I feel it's an amazing product, but truly when it's live, you have to give it a try. And just a few weeks recently, we logged in all the actual data and all that to test it internally. We were surprised by ourselves again, like because it really accounts for. We were surprised how personalized that got actually, because we are accounting for like where you are from, etc. And we were like trying out with a test user persona, and all of a sudden we got like from Denmark, and then all of a sudden we got recommended those stocks from Denmark, and with a rationale that is at the end still again approved by the analyst side, and I think that's pretty neat.
All right, thank you, Markus. Okay, last sharing by Meng. Yeah, so Meng, design full stack engineer, absolute influencer on X if you follow him. He's been invited to teach at Apple, PayPal, and Figma. This is the first time he's doing a live demo of how he uses AI to design landing pages today, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of ish.
So this will be very interesting. Yeah, and he published this a week back, maybe a few days ago. I'll leave it to him. All right, Meng.
Hello. Oh, press the button. Hello. Sorry. Hello. Okay. All right. Thank you, Michael. Really happy to be here. So, I think a lot of people, they don't realize that you can create amazing designs with AI. I think what is even sadder is that a lot of people don't realize that the designs that they create is actually AI slopes. And there's a huge problem right now because AI can produce anything, can vibe code anything that you can imagine. But AI does not have taste until you give it some clear directions. So the reason is very simple. It's lazy. And you have to tell it to work really hard. And nowadays, a lot of the new models have hands and legs. They can do so much more. And so you have to tell it to work much longer than it used to. So we're talking about hours. So taking a look at this demo, for example, right? This is 3D. This was generated procedurally using AI for 2 hours straight using Opus 5. So you can see the entire thing here is in code. So procedural means that it's creating functions and it's generating all of these blades of grass, all of this butterfly that flies when the mouse goes over, all of the sort of the grass and the 3D. It's really cool because, believe it or not, this is about 500 KB, so less than 1 meg. Usually, 3D assets would take about, 3, 4, 5 megs each. And the beauty of using something like this is that you can literally ask AI to regenerate the entire thing in different themes. So here we're looking at sakuras, and then we're looking at maple leaves. And you can see it's really easy nowadays to just copy the prompt and give it to Codex and Opus 5 and then give it a little bit of direction and make it work really, really hard, and it's gonna give you these amazing designs for you, right? So I built this tool, but first of all, right, a lot of people, they need really good directions. And when I say directions, I mean something like Mobbin. You need to sort of like use the MCP, which is basically an interface for your agents. And then you sort of tell it to give you the best designs for this specific direction that you want, or this vibe-coded app that you have. And you need to make sure that it doesn't produce AI slop. Okay, so what is AI slop? AI slop is like purple radiance, right? You've seen this everywhere. You have the new generation of AI slops, which is like blinking lights everywhere, eyebrows with huge letter spacing. And I can go on and on with this, and it's horrible. But the problem is most people, they don't realize it. They don't have that taste that they have developed as a product designers over the years. I've done this for 25 years. I've vibe coded since day one. Like for 2 years, I've launched 5 apps. And I've sort of developed a sixth sense for this kind of stuff. which is why, it is my mission to destroy AI slobs. And yeah, I kind of build this tool for fun, but usually, like I said, you have to have strong references, and then you have to make your AI work for hours at a time. And then I built this library, which basically you have these really cool concepts like this one. I'm sure you've seen this, but it's like a printer instead of like a normal invoice, you have like a printer, and then you're gonna love this, look. Boom. Remember Apple used to do this, right? So now you can do it with just a prompt. All you need to do is just to copy this prompt. Sorry, didn't mean that. But you can copy it, and it has the entire context, and you can literally just say, okay, I want this in dark mode, or okay, I want this in 3D, and make it work really hard, and then it's gonna produce all of these amazing designs for you. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, and it's been really fun. Like I said, I'm going to be working with Michael to sort of share all of these bits and pieces, how to prompt, how to develop your taste, and how to make the best landing pages you've ever done, even though you're not a designer, and even though, you haven't done this any length of time, right? Thank you.
Thank you, Meng. Thank you, Meng. Any questions from the floor? Oh, Shimin.
I don't have a mic, so I'll just speak from here. I thought, or my assumption at least, is that taste is something that is hard to systemize and catalog. So how do you do that?
Right. So taste is becoming more and more like the last, well, it used to be like the last 20%. And as we go more and more further into agents and harnesses, it's becoming more and more like the last 5%, the last 1%. Taste is you basically making these micro decisions at the very end and say, I hate this shit, I love this shit, right? And that is, you have to develop this, and you have to see a lot of designs, you have to know the references, you have to sort of know the prompting and then the keywords, the vocabulary, and then you can do that. So, you can systemize it because you can sort of like give more context to the agent. You can download skills, which I have created a lot myself, but there's a ton of skills out there you can download and give to your agents. You can also go to Mobbin, go to all of these sort of inspiration sites that you can give as a reference, and then your agent just make it work harder, and you have to say something like self-verify until it's perfect, and then it's going to do that, and then it's going to do a really good job.
Yeah, so do you think that whatever is like really good right now will eventually become slop as the next generation model is just trained on it? What do you think about that?
That's a great question. I think everything is going to become AI slop. And it makes sense because as humans, we're always chasing the next best things. We always want to do something else and something better. We don't want to do like the manual stuff anymore. I don't know anyone that still write code, at least, most of the code. I know I haven't written a single line of code in like maybe a year. So we don't want to do the boring stuff anymore. And I do believe that AI will always choose the lowest hanging fruits unless you tell it to work really hard. So I do believe that you have to start really detecting these AI slop patterns that are everywhere nowadays, right? And that's how you determine if someone is really putting the effort. And in turn, if you do really good work, people will notice because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for the human factor. If you look at Twitter, right? Everyone's looking for like good design or non-AI slop. In fact, Google Design just came out with a tweet and they're like, hey guys, look at my tweet. And then everyone was just bullying this $4 trillion company because like, who the hell does that, right? Like, you have so much resources, you have so many designers, but how can you come up with AI slops? That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, like more and more the bar is gonna grow and we all have to sort of train on these things. And the good news is that it's easy nowadays to sort of train on these things.
Yeah, maybe one last one for her.
Obviously, it's Meng, I love what you're doing here, right?
Thank you.
What I wondered is that as these interfaces become more transactional, right, so the experience that I want to have here is it's actually an experience that I want to have as a human, rather than my agent going and dealing with some random interface, right? Well, what do you see the future of these interfaces where I, as a human, actually want to experience it, whereas just deploying my agent and saying, okay, do some shopping cart, e-commerce transaction, whatever, I don't want to deal with that interface anymore. So when I imagine, I guess my question is, how do you see this future of these experiences where humans want to experience?
Okay. At the end of the day, we want to have, I guess, ikigai, right? Like the term where you want to have purpose and aesthetics and beauty, and sort of like that's why these expensive cars, people still buy them. At the end of the day, yeah, you can totally, we have to sort of keep chasing the new things that give us purpose. If it's not writing code, then what is it? Now it's going to be like, okay, I want to do this thing that I always dream of doing that I couldn't do before. And as a product designer, that's what I've been doing so far for the past 2 years. It's just doing a lot of these things that I couldn't imagine that I could do before. So, this essentially is a 3GS website. So all of these, such as this game board here, is 3GS and all generated using AI. And I couldn't do this before, but now I can. And not me, but my agent was doing it. So I guess my point is, you as a human, you have to look into your memories and your sort of passion, and you have to reference that. So for example, who the hell does a Game Boy anymore, right? But that comes with me growing up with a Game Boy, and that gives me purpose, that gives me happiness. So I believe that, as long as you're sort of connecting to your memories and connecting to your human taste, then you will always try to produce a better version in the future.
Thank you, Brent.
Thank you.
All right, round of applause for Meng.
Thank you.
Feel free to connect with him.
There's a workshop, right?
Yeah, so we will have a workshop next Saturday, a full-day workshop together with Meng. He will walk through the workflows that he uses, how he drives his agent to work for 2 hours. And of course, one of the biggest takeaways for me was his critique of my work. Obviously, and I posted about this, is that you don't know what you don't know. You think it's great, but actually, when you launch a product and you think it's great, and the consumers look at it and it's like, oh, holy shit, what's with all these things? It's always good to have a trained eye to be there to guide you on that. So I'll share a bit on the workshop here. So feel free to scan it. There's an early bird code that ends on 23rd of August. We've actually got a couple of design leaders from some of the enterprises and public sector companies who are joining us. So if you are really into learning how this is done, please join us. This is a very rare opportunity. It's the first time Meng has come out to do a in real life workshop in Singapore. Previously, he was always doing it in SF. Okay. Otherwise, also on the left side, help me leave a feedback. Help us make Fridays better. Right. Thank you everyone for joining for this demo. Feel free to hang around, have fun. Thanks.